Park and Rec meeting, and I know it's up to 6. What time is it? It's 6:04. Calling the meeting to order. Okay, for the Park and Rec Commission attendance, we have Mary Ellen, Glenn, John, Don Bugby, and myself. Any other Park and Rec Commissioner on the phone? On?
Hi guys, it's Missy.
Hi, Missy. Okay, great. I'm glad you're there. Anyone else? I know Brendan said he may be coming on, but late. Some business appointment. And
he hasn't signed on yet.
Yeah, okay. And then I guess Tim. Tim is not here. So you got the attendance, okay? Mary Ellen. All right. I read over the minutes when we got them. I read them over again today from the previous meeting and our August meeting, and we skipped September. So look fine to me. Anybody have any comments, or should we approve the minutes as written?
Okay, I approve the minutes of the August meeting.
Okay, is that the motion? You're making a motion? Motion to approve. Second?
I wasn't.
You weren't?
I'll second it then.
Okay, yeah, so Mary, you seconded it, okay. All right, so the meetings, previous minutes were approved, and we bumped the kayak people up.
Got to vote on it.
What's that?
Got to vote on it.
Oh, we didn't vote on the minutes. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. So all those that approve, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Oh, yeah. Missy was there, and of course I approve. I already said that. Okay. Anyone opposed? Okay. Abstain? No.
I abstain.
You abstain, John. Okay. All right. So we voted, approved that. Next one is the kayaks at Haynes Park. Terry Lewis, Mike McGee, and it looks like you have some friends with you too.
Yeah, and Terry's going to lead. First driver is going to give a little bit of information.
Okay, that would be great. Terry, you want to come up here just so this thing will pick you up and you can sit a little farther away from the table or whatever. But I got my booster shot. I got my 3rd shot Monday.
I'm going to pass out pictures for everybody and information.
Okay.
My name is Terry Lewis of the Harbor Management Commission.
Right, and Dick Driver is up here too now. Okay.
So I would like to take thank you for having us.
Yes.
And Dick Driver, also advocate of kayaking and ADA compliant kayaking, and
not for public comment, no.
A publisher for an amazing magazine, an extrovert magazine in town.
Somebody in the public on the phone, please stop talking. Okay. Go ahead, Terry.
So we're just bringing some public information in attention to kayaking in town. A lot of people in town are very interested in trying to have accessibility to some safe water. And so I'm going to leave this conversation to Mr. Shriver, who's going to be able to give you a lot of information that I think is important to bring across to you guys as Kayak Rec at Haynes Park.
Okay. Go ahead, Dick. Thank you, Terry. And plus, I know kayaking is very popular. As we all know.
Thanks for listening to us today.
Yeah.
The 3 of us, and maybe others, have been working on kayak accessibility for some years, actually, in the Old Lyme area. There are, as you said, Bob, a lot of kayakers in Old Lyme. Hundreds, possibly as many as 1,000 people who get out on the water for recreation, for exercise, exploration, and so on. And as those people get older, I can speak for myself and maybe a few others, it's harder to get in and out of the kayak. You all know what I'm talking about. So, not because you're old, because
I have no idea what he's talking about.
And I've helped a lot of people get in and out of kayaks, at Pilgrim Landing. And people who kayak are proud. They don't want to ask for help. They just as soon quit kayaking when they can't get out of the kayak anymore. And so there's an opportunity, particularly at Rogers Lake, because there's no tide, to invest a modest sum for people that can't get in and out of the kayak easily with a bar, where they can lower themselves in the kayak. That's the easy part. Getting back out is the hard part. And we've looked at devices that could be used to get in off a dock, floating dock, in tidal water. But we think that what we'd like to do is have you all think about the concept, details to follow at another later date, of considering putting a device like that one that in your hands, where people could bring their kayak or have it stored at the Rogers Lake, get in the kayak, have a ride for the pleasure of it, and also for the exercise, the upper body workout that you get in the kayak, so you can have a good time and do yourself some good health-wise at the same time. And it just makes sense. Out of those 1,000 kayakers in Old Line, there's probably 20 or 30 or 40 every year that reach that point where, it's too much trouble to get in and out of the kayak, and they hang it up. They don't have to. And that's what we'd like. That's the concept we'd like to have you all consider. It's the money is not such a big factor. It's just the application of the putting the device on the beach, possibly having a rack there for people that like to store their kayaks there. But those are issues to be debated. So we just wanted to put that thought in front of you, and if you like the concept, then we would work together to put together details of a specific proposal.
There's no doubt kayaking is very popular, and I think somehow we'd like to make all this work. Let me ask you, Dick, with this, do you have one of these where you have the other kayaks stored? One of these?
We don't have any of those.
Oh, okay. And let me also ask, would the docks that are currently there make it a little easier for everybody to get in and out?
You need that bar overhead.
Yeah, you need the bar, okay, unless you're not stable.
It sounds so simple, and yet it has...
I agree with you 100%. I don't kayak anymore because it's a pain in the neck to get in and out. I dump myself out sideways.
As long as it's warm out.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you don't have this thing. So, and you have what's $1,800, $1,828 for one of these?
We're not recommending a specific answer today, but if you all like the concept, then we would go to work with you and find a place and do all of the neighboring.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think what we would also have to do is at least get a representative like Don or myself to talk with you guys down there. Where could we put a rack to hold? And what is it for, like 8 kayaks or 6 or?
Probably 6.
And how is this one working, by the way? Does anybody vandalize these? That's one of the things we're worried about.
So a couple of pictures. The one that you see there with on the top where you have the sign, that's at Pilgrim's Landing. That's one.
That's where?
Pilgrim's Landing.
Where is that?
When you're going near Puppet Farm on the left, that's the landing right there.
Oh, okay.
By Old Line Marina.
Oh, by the Old Line Marina.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that rack Mike McGee built.
I know Mike was talking about building one, and at Coffee's one morning, and I said, let's see what it looks like.
That rack stayed.
One concept there. It's a little high. The upper rack is a little difficult for people to get their kayak on, but we were extremely limited on space because that's the parking area as well.
Yeah.
That's why we chose that design. That was on the beach. The lower profile in a neighborhood like Rogers Lake.
Yeah, come on up.
A little bit more desirable.
For the beach use.
We were thinking on the borderline, but beaches to the east where the grassy knoll is. You're kind of out of the way of the swimmers, out of the way of the rowing situation
because
down there.
it's quite crowded.
I think they could do a little regrading and maybe create a sandy area, because that would work best where you don't have to mow. And that might be a good place. I don't anticipate there would ever be crowds. It's something like somebody coming home from work. It's a nice day. You want to go for a paddle before you go home and deal with. So one or two people, one or two cars in the late afternoon.
And who determines, or is there a lottery to see who gets to put a kayak there?
I would think that, what I'd like to see, this is just my thought, is that you need a beach sticker to park there.
Yes.
So they also, when they're at the town hall, they register their spot at Haynes Park to store their kayak. First come, first serve, and that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And then we know who owns the kayaks that are on there, that they're legit. And I don't anticipate a great demand. I would love to see 6 people wanting to do this in the beginning. Maybe it'll grow, and you put in another rack.
Yeah, because I think one of the things we have to worry about is vandalism. I don't know if you know, but when we built that brand new it was vandalized, Don, 3 days after we built it?
What was it, like graffiti or something, or?
Took the doors down and they did some bad deeds in the back.
They did some things we're not going to discuss publicly, okay? Because it's gross.
I've read there's an agreement for the use of that park, and it shows that the building is leased to School District 18. And
there's all agreements with the district,
and I think it's basically you're there using it at your own risk, the entire park, essentially. So I think our sign at Pilgrim Landing says that this is provided by the Harbor Commission, and it's for your own. This town assumes no liability. The Harbor Commission assumes.
We'd have to have something like that in writing.
Which is as it should be.
It would be part of the permit when you apply for it. They would have to read that actual little piece of paper and state.
And you encourage
we have a sign that says.
Use a bicycle lock or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's working well at Pilgrim's Landing, is that right, Dick?
Yeah, and of course, they don't have to leave the kayak there. They can bring it on top of the car. They have a trailer, whatever.
We see a lot of them coming in the car, top down there. Not a lot, but occasionally.
Yeah, my wife and I go down to Haynes Park. She feels safer there than out with the waves and the powerboat current, things like that.
Yeah. We looked at White Sand Beach through talking to Don, and it's much more difficult getting into the ocean with the waves and everything.
Especially on the weekends down there, it gets quite crowded.
Not just the sound itself.
Oh, the sound itself,
Strong currents, the winds come up in the afternoon, people could get stranded.
So
the lake is really a nice, safe place.
The nice part about the lake, when you come into the parking lot, there's an actual break in the fence, a walkway break, not closest to over near the rowing area, but actually over to the right side, which would allow people to stay out of everyone's way, the swimmers and so forth, go through that little opening in the fence and go right over to the corner and be completely away from everyone else.
Yeah, especially if there's being stored there, you're not walking through anybody with boats.
But if you have an ADA kind of compliant area where they can get through the fence easy enough, it's pretty easy to just get right into the lake and off they go.
Yeah, that's something. It would all depend on what location we put it at, because we still have to do sidewalk out there to have a sidewalk to the boathouse. We don't have one of those, which to make that totally ADA compliant. We're hoping to keep the ADA stuff over there, but we may need something we're going to hopefully try and replace some of the equipment over there for the playground.
Yeah.
So we may need some sort of ADA accessibility to the
I had talked to, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, that's fine.
I had talked to we have an ADA committee or commission in town.
Yeah.
I went to one of their meetings over a year ago, and they were talking about there's mats that you can roll out, various different weights. They drive tanks over them, the Army.
Oh, yeah. You see those at some beaches.
Lighter ones for the beach, for people with strollers, walkers, things like that, to get them.
Yeah, that may make more sense over there, because you know.
Pretty durable, you roll it up for the winter or the off-season, put it away.
Yeah, that might make more sense to get to the area.
Put it in your garage.
Your garage?
No, your garage.
But I think there's solutions to it.
No, I think, yeah. Well, I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say.
I'm all for it. I think it's great.
Yeah. How about?
I'm definitely for it. I think it's
Yeah.
a wonderful idea.
Yeah, okay,
I
great.
think it's a good idea, and I like this thing.
Yeah.
The rack.
Yeah, and Don, how about you?
Fine with it?
Yeah, okay, I'm good with it, and,
Now, that might work best with a small dock that it's attached to. So because once you get onto that platform, now you've got to step down into the water or something, because you're not going to be, it's not going to be on dry land. You've paddled to it.
you guys would have to get the, what is it, the DEP to, any type of dock that goes there.
I guess. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think that's how.
This is attached to the dock.
I believe so. I've not seen one of those actions.
I don't understand how this.
I have to
You have to step down from the dock onto this.
Well, they're both floating, so I guess they're the same height.
You still have to get wet,
That
right?
makes sense.
Pardon me?
You still have to get wet, like your feet?
I don't know if you get wet with that or not. It'd be nice if you didn't have to get wet.
So Mike, I
So
don't see...
is this device designed to attach to the existing dock?
Oh, who's speaking, please?
Missy.
Missy?
This is Candace Fuchs. I'm just asking if the device that you're discussing is designed to attach to the existing dock.
Not the docks that are there, because that would be in the way of the skulls, I believe.
Yeah, no, this is for something, no.
We have to come up with our own.
It has nothing to do with the docks or even possibly it could be located over there somewhere.
On this, it looks like it's attached to sort of a dock.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
I think there's so many great ideas for ways to leverage Haynes Park.
Excuse us, Candace.
I'd have to contact.
I think what we have to do is get some more information about that, and I think that we have to have Candace being in charge of the rowing club, and Don, maybe myself, some representative of you guys, to take a look at where might be the best place for this. Because we're talking about maybe getting this going in the spring?
Yeah.
Next spring, yeah.
Now we went from a smaller version, which you could have a small square dock with low freeboard that would attach to this. A bit more of a larger scale that
there's a lot of different
variations,
designs
and obviously we need to work with you to find the right spot.
But this looks impressive.
Yeah,
This looks
pretty impressive.
I don't know if we want to. It's so tiny, this park.
Oh yeah, no.
Exactly.
Yeah, to be on the docks down here doesn't make sense.
So that's why we didn't show this.
I couldn't do it tinier.
We were thinking of simplistic versus
I figured it'd scare you off.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That is a little scary.
But
that's only about $3,500, I believe, which isn't bad. You probably need a ramp back to shore, but it's overkill.
But
it's overkill.
Yeah.
I think the less than overkill approach might be the one to go with first and see if it works. The other thing is, yes, there is an expense involved. You guys going to have a fundraiser or something like that for?
Yes.
Because we already have a lot of this coming year committed to other things.
Yeah, well, the Harbor Management Commission.
The Harbor Management Commission? Are you the chair of that, George?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No, but we have funds that we designate for certain projects, as we did with Pilgrim Landing.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully this would work for the people of Old Lyme, and it would be.
Yeah, no, it all sounds very promising. Can we just informally have a consensus to go out and to go to the park and talk about this more, exactly where it may go?
Fantastic.
I don't think we need a motion.
We came here for a conversation, obviously.
And then maybe what we could do is then come back and report at the next meeting to see what the group decides. And the group would be consistent of of the kayak, couple of representatives, committee, Park and Rec, and also the Rowing Association, just to make sure everybody is comfortable with whatever goes on out there.
Great.
Yeah, so, yeah, it looks great. Thanks for all this information and doing the research on it. And you say that people aren't worried about losing kayak. Maybe they're hidden over in this location, because at Haynes Park, it's pretty wide open.
It is, but this is the kayaks that we had built at Old Lyme Shores. There's 3 of these.
Yeah.
And there's probably 48 kayaks there. We've never lost one in 6 years.
Wow, 48.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't they lock the gate at Haynes Park?
No, the gate's not locked there.
No,
the gate gets locked at Townwoods Park, just because it's so big, but basically you can view everything.
But not Haynes Park.
Yeah, but not Haynes Park, and plus we're eventually gonna put security cameras on the restroom.
I'll keep them just.
They'll have the capability,
Do you want this one?
estimates right now, to scan the area, so maybe wherever this is site, because one of the things we'll be able to do on the boat, and scan that whole area, like not only.
Maybe the Park Commission could help you guys financially, or the town with that.
Yeah, whatever, I think the next step is to go out there.
Do we want to figure out a time to do that, or?
Yeah, you can't do it Saturday morning, because Don is real busy with soccer. You want to do it Sunday morning?
Fine with me.
Okay with me.
Okay. All right, well, at least we got a couple of us can go. How about for you guys?
I'll be there.
Dick, are you available?
Yeah.
George? Great.
Yeah, okay.
No, but it's okay to that park.
Are you talking about Sunday the 10th?
Oh, Candace, we're talking about this Sunday, yes. Can you make it?
I could. It's supposed to pour.
What time?
Oh, I just looked at the weather forecast before I came here, and they said it may. It depends on what
I
model.
think Candace is right. When I saw it, they showed a huge green section going.
No, that's the European model, and the other. So
Monday.
Yeah. I tell you what. How about we'll have a backup date. If it's raining, outside of just a little mist or whatever, we'll go ahead with Sunday morning. But if it's raining considerably, we'll have a backup date. What would be a good backup date?
I can make it. What time of day were you thinking?
Probably early in the morning, just to get it over with, 8 o'clock. Don, how about, would Monday work for you if it's raining on Sunday? Okay, and how about you, Candace? If it's raining hard on Sunday, Monday will work out?
Yeah, I have a 10 a.m. meeting, but hopefully it won't take that long.
No, yes, so, okay, so why don't we go with, is 8 o'clock good for everybody on either Sunday, or if it's raining a lot, we'll use our judgment. We're not going to call around everybody, but if it's not raining a whole lot, let's show up, I mean. Because we've been out there before doing things in the rain, and...
we're not going to be out there for hours.
Yeah, I know, and unless it's really pouring. Let's try and make it Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, and we'll take it from there and get more ideas of what it might cost, and in particular, what would be a good spot to do all this.
Right.
Yeah, that would be...
I'll bring my kayak.
Okay.
You know what kayaks look like.
We'll put Bob in one.
The one with the hole in it. Get out of it. The hole in it. Throw them out there.
Ask him to then stand up.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you very, very much.
All right, so that's what the plan. 8 o'clock Sunday morning down Haynes Park, or if it's raining a lot, 8 o'clock on Monday morning. All right, guys, guys and gal and Terry, thank you very much.
I don't know if this gentleman's name.
Okay.
See you too.
And Dave McCullough, thank you you got Dave down you have the names of everybody that were here?
I do, except for that gentleman.
Dave McCullough.
Oh, okay. I should know.
Okay, but, all right, so we have all your names that you were here. Okay, great. Okay, we move on now to the director's report. Okay, bye. Update on PRC programs and facilities.
All right. We'll start off with the fall stuff. We've completed 3 weeks of 7 with fall soccer. Briefly, the program's open for kids ages 3 up through grade 5. We're playing September 18th through October 30th this year. We have 218 participants this year, which is a big group. They're grouped by age or grade, pre-K kids, ages 3 and 4. There's 6 teams of them. Grade K, there's 6 teams of them. Grades 1 and 2 kids are combined, and there's 8 teams for them. And grades 3 through 5 are combined, and there's 4 teams of them. So it's total 24 teams, 218 participants, which is quite a bit. As you know, we signed up Lyme and O-Lyme residents this year through me because of the situation with Lyme Parks and Rec undergoing changes with both the commission and the director. Adult basketball was anticipated to start September 8th, and Sundays a little bit later on in the fall. I have not scheduled this yet because there has been some reluctance or indication of reluctance to mask wearing, and I will not have the program there if people aren't going to comply with that. And also with that, though, the weather's been good so far, so people are outside playing, so it hasn't been a real factor.
Yeah, because the school policy is still any indoor
state law.
There, you have to.
I believe it's a state law.
Oh, it's a state law? Okay.
Yoga classes are expected to start up again this fall. I actually heard today from the people involved that they would like to get back into that. So I'll update that situation when it develops. Winter programs, I'm anticipating sign-ups for youth basketball to start October 18th and go through December 3rd. I have a tentative coaches meeting date of Saturday, December 11th. And I'm expecting the season to run on Saturdays from January 8th through February 26th, 2022. I will be discussing in more detail with the superintendent about any school situations or requirements that we need to comply with that large amount of people being in the school. Mm-hmm. I might have to do something like put more time in between the groups to get people out. More than because it's pretty busy. Adult volleyball, I've had a lot of preliminary discussions with interested participants, District 18 personnel, and the high school volleyball coach. We need to use, besides the gym space, obviously, we also need to use District 18's standards and netting. So I wanted to get that going this fall earlier, but it looks like that's going to hold off a little bit, so we're still working on that type of situation. Going forward into the summer, we got 2 Community Athletic Solution CAS camps scheduled and under contract for next year. The camps are scheduled for July 11th through 15th and August 1st through 5th, 2022. Each camp will have 3 sessions, depending on sign-ups and ages of the participants at the time. There'll be a 9 to 10 a.m. session for the youngest kids. There'll be a 10:30 to 12 for the next group older, and a 9 to 12 for the oldest kids. The cost for those sessions in order were $80, $95, and $130, and that all goes to the Community Athletic Solution camp folks. And a ball and shirt is included for each session. Moving on to facilities, Townwoods Park, the fields are in pretty good shape. The grass grew well all summer, and we had several extra mowings outside of the estimated contract mowings. We do have a crabgrass situation going up there, so there's some bare spots now. We've started the fall overseeding early, and we'll probably do that twice this year instead of the normal one time. All of the 12 soccer goals out there used for games, I've replaced all the netting on those goals this year, so everything's in great shape. The soccer club is using the facility daily for practices and games, and there have been no issues that I am aware of.
Tom, excuse me. I was out there one Saturday morning with you, and you said there seemed to be a grub problem, which is causing a lot of the grass is getting muddy out there.
Well, it appears to be a grub problem.
What does the contractor say? He might. What does he say about it?
Well, if I haven't confirmed it with him, if it is a grub problem, then we have to treat it, and we have to shut the place down and treat it for a day and water it in, etc.
Right.
So that's to be determined.
Okay.
The food share garden project out there, work is continuing on site. If you haven't been out there, you should check it out. They got a lot of planting areas, beds, mulch, and everything in place. And they held 2 open house and work party opportunities on the 2 previous Saturdays, September 25th and October 2nd. There was quite a lot of people there. The building, the bathroom building and the field house was power washed and sealed. All of the trim and the doors were repainted, and the broken windows are scheduled for replacement, but it has been a significant wait for those parts. I forget it where exactly, but there was a 12-week window to get these windows. As previously reported in July, we had a routine water test. The water tested positive for coliform, et cetera, et cetera. We closed the building, treated the system, flushed it, water retested, and the building was reopened July 31st after satisfactory test results. And this was a problem for 2 years in a row and the second month in a row. So discussion with the facilities director, the water company representative, and the finance director, it was determined that a UV system should be installed to alleviate the continuing problem, and the cost was expected, according to the facilities director, to be in the $6,000 range. This will be added to the 22-23 budget process for approval. And it should be noted that all tests taken since July 31st have been satisfactory.
So since you say that the 22 to 23, we'd have to wait until next July to install this system? Or?
Unless they make a special arrangement to put it in ahead of time.
Yes,
they've done stuff like that before.
Yeah, because it's only, $6,000 or something?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll work that out.
Okay, all right.
White Sand Beach, all staff, because we didn't meet in September, all staff finished up on Labor Day. The bathrooms are remaining open and are being cleaned daily. Expected to be closed for the season later this month as normal, weather dependent. The overhead and foot shower unit was replaced with a brand new push button unit, which works very well. Trash recycling is removed by Public Works as needed, and all swim lines, buoys, and lifeguard stand have been removed. Crossland Park, fields are being used a great deal by Little League. Talking to the Little League president the other day, their season is expected to wrap up Saturday, November 6th. So the water will be turned off at that point, everything put away, and buildings shutting down. The 2 yard hydrants by the baseball dugouts need replacement, and it will be done either prior to the water being turned off this year or before it's turned on in the spring. That's up to the availability of the plumbers. Haynes Park. Haynes Park has been very active all summer and now into the fall with rowing programs. Our staff finished up the week before Labor Day. Lifeguards were not at Haynes Park very much this year due to a staff shortage of lifeguards. Without getting an answer tonight, I think the Parks and Rec Commission should discuss the possibility or discuss the need for lifeguards at Haynes Park on another night. We got through the summer with hardly anybody covers there. It's a small area, swim area, et cetera, but that's something for a further discussion down the road before next spring. And if I have lifeguards, I have them, but if I don't...
Right, and maybe next year it won't be quite as hard to get, because they couldn't even take the test, right?
That's been a problem, but it is harder to get lifeguards each year, it seems.
Yeah. Okay.
The bathrooms remain open and are cleaned daily. They're obviously, again, expected to be closed this season later this month, weather dependent, maybe the first week of November. The 800-gallon water storage system has been working very well at this point. I haven't had any issues with that. The facilities director checks that a lot, and things have been looking good. The yard hydrant next to the boathouse needs replacement, and similar to Crossland Park, that'll be done either prior to the water being turned off or before it's turned on in the spring. There is a broken window on the new bathroom building on the Boston Post side. Replacement of that is pending. Looking at it, I really can't, there's nothing obvious that says somebody threw something at it or broke it or whatever, but in any regard, there's a broken window there and it needs to be replaced.
Is it just a cracked window or is it totally?
No, when it cracks, it spiders the whole thing.
Oh, okay, but there's still something there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not a hole, it's still something there, but
okay.
It actually looks like the opaque glass when it does it. Anyways, all right, and in my opinion, the expanded parking lot seems to have helped out a lot with any kind of parking issues at Haynes Park. Okay. And that's it for that section.
Okay, any questions for Don?
No?
Comments? No, very good, very expensive and thorough. Missy, how about you?
Can I make a comment, or do I have to wait till the end?
Comment later, when we have public comment. Yes, Missy? What?
No, I don't have any comments. Thanks.
Okay, okay, all right. I think then hearing no more comments from the commissioners, we can go on. Okay. Status of the agreement for the access path from 176 Boston Post Road. It's finally been approved at the selectmen's meeting on this past Monday. The agreement needs to be signed now. Myself and Tim Griswold signed it. I heard that Greg Hack may have signed it today. And we're hoping in the next week or so that the members of the LLC, there's 5 members, I believe now, one person's decided not to do it, we'll have that signed within a week or so, and that'll be all done. Anybody have any comments on that? No? No? Okay. Okay, we're moving on then. We've been talking about a pavilion for Haynes Park, and because of supply problems, we decided we're going to have it done for next spring. It probably could have been done over the winter, but with the vandalism going on there and without security cameras, I think the wisest thing we all decided was we'll have it built in the spring. The Park and Rec commissioners, we've been researching this and looking at different vendors, and the best deal and the best vendor seems to be the Barnyard. You saw them advertised on TV a lot for the Big E. They have a special sale now that goes on through next week, I believe. So we got a 25% discount on what it would have cost for a 12 by 22 foot nice wooden traditional type of pavilion, and the price with the price reduction of 25%. The regular price is supposed to be $23,104, and basically when you looked at all these companies, it was always in that range for basic, not the advanced pavilion, but it was always in the range of like low 20s to low 30s. So their regular price is $23,104. With a 25% discount, it's a savings of $5,776 for a total amount of $17,328. This company has a very good reputation. The commissioners, I sent around not only the estimate, but a couple of the pictures of the pavilions. And basically, the last pictures I sent was to show the differences between a hip roof. I think we'll add all this to the minutes, okay? For most of this. A hip roof or a A-frame roof. And what do you guys all think? The hip roof looks really nice. The A-frame roof would not have a little area up there with little windows, but you could have it done.
That's called a clear story.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. but it's just to invite more vandalism too, so.
Yeah, I agree.
So, as I said, my opinion was, I like the hip roof one, the wooden one. Everybody else, what do you?
One I liked.
Yeah, you agree with that? Okay. Don?
I agree as well.
Yeah, and, okay, Missy, you agree too? Okay, and so everybody's in agreement with that. I don't think we're gonna do much better than the estimate. It could be done in the spring. We also have to have somebody come out, maybe someone like Todd Mackman's company or somebody, to put first of all, we have to finally hook up the boathouse to handicap accessibility by putting a sidewalk kind of like between the basketball court, running between the basketball court and close to the basketball court on the lakeside over to their area. And then we also are talking about one of the possible places for a pavilion, because we want it to be close to the handicap accessible bathroom, would be there too, somewhere right in there. And we looked at a couple spots and we haven't come to a solid decision on that. But it'd be 12 by 22, and actually next week we're going to have a meeting with the facilities director to just go over exactly. Don, myself, and Phil Parchik took a walk out there to look at the spots, but we'll have another meeting to not only discuss that, but some other stuff. And we'll report on it the next meeting.
Okay.
So anyway, at this time, I would like somebody, everyone's got the estimate here, and if we agree to have the barnyard company put the pavilion out there, that we get a 25% discount, we have to submit a deposit of 1/3 of that amount, which is $5,800, which we can do because this money would come out of the generous fundraising budget that's sponsored by the Old Lyme Rowing Association, because there's $59,000 and a little bit fund. So I think that would be a wise thing to put a deposit down on this $17,328.
Bob, since you're using the money that...
Excuse me, Candace, can you please wait for public comment? I believe we've had a discussion that you would like to have a pavilion, and your people would. So we're going to make the decision on what pavilion to get. Would somebody like to make a motion on that, please? A motion to sign a contract and provide a $5,800 deposit for the 22 by 12. And by the way, just as reference, the one down White Sands is 24 by 12, but I don't think we need quite as big to put 2 picnic tables in there. So it's 22 by 12 foot wood pavilion with a hip roof. Do you get most of that, Mary Ellen?
I'm trying.
Yeah. So somebody make a motion for that, please. Can you read, Mary Ellen, maybe?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, yeah.
$800, is it an $800 deposit?
$5,800.
We didn't include the cost.
What is the
So,
final cost?
move to sign a contract with Barnyard?
Yeah, the Barnyard Company, for $17,328 for a 12 by 22 foot pavilion.
Wood pavilion with a hip roof.
Wood pavilion with a hip roof. A model number.
Bob, this is Candace Book, and that money was raised by Old Lyme Rowing Association people, and I take issue to the fact that you are authorizing spending of that money without including any input from the people who worked very hard to raise it.
No, but that's not quite true, Candace. I know you verbally have said that you were interested in getting a nice wood pavilion out at Haynes Park, and in fact, I think one of your biggest donors said that that he really wanted to see a pavilion. So the idea is that money was raised, and you've already agreed that you want a pavilion there, and so did your big donor. So the Park and Rec Commission makes the recommendation as to what to put there, okay? And so if you could just wait for public comment at the end, that would be greatly appreciated. But we want to get moving here and make sure we get this done. And it's the best deal we can get.
The problem is that once we get to public comment, it's already done. That the tip is saying. And public doesn't get an opportunity to comment before the process has already been completed. That's the problem.
Well, that is not a problem as far as I'm concerned, because everyone seems to have agreed in the past that we would like to have a pavilion. The fact that the Park and Rec did all the research, all the groundwork, looked at all the deals, got the best deal, got the best company to work with, what is your concern about that?
So first of all, I never said that I wanted a pavilion. So this is something that this train has left the station. We understand that you have unilaterally decided that the town of Old Lyme wants a pavilion.
That is not true. We've discussed this many times. Candace, you're going to have to wait until the end of the meeting to have any more comments. We've discussed this at the Park and Rec meetings. Now that we finally have a good proposal, the cheapest proposal, that we're going to put a pavilion there. There's been discussions, so many discussions. You also said that your biggest donor, who gave $5,000, wanted a pavilion, and you thought a pavilion was a good idea. Please wait until the end of the proposal comments. Okay, so what was that, the motion?
Lynn McEnroe moved to sign a contract with Barnyard Company for a wood pavilion with a hip roof at a cost of $17,328 with a deposit of $5,800 shortly?
Within the next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anyone second that one? John?
No.
Okay. Any more discussion with the commissioners on this?
Not me.
No? John? No? Missy, are you still out there?
Yes, I'm here.
Any discussion or comment?
No, I mean, if I'm being honest, I feel like conflicted about the way this is being handled, I guess. I don't know how to, I just feel like I, in a way, understand what Candace is saying, that if we make a motion and move on it, that what's the point of having public comment? That there's not,
But
I'm not saying I agree with the pavilion, but I just am not sure I feel comfortable with the way we're going about it.
Okay, so Missy, here's the deal. This was a 2-week sale that they've extended 1 week. We've had many discussions at Park and Rec and, in fact, with Candace Fuchs about a pavilion, about her biggest donor wanting a pavilion, and even though she claims she said she didn't like the pavilion idea now, she said it in the past, she liked it, so I really see no problem with doing what we're doing. Well, other commissioners, you have any comment? It's coming way under what's been raised. We can talk about how to use the rest of the money. We already put out a bike rack, and when was the other thing we did? Something else out there, I think, too.
Bob, it doesn't matter if I want it. It matters if the public wants it. That's what matters.
Yes, and the public has been able to phone in for these meetings for the last year. And now that we finally have spent months researching this and doing this, I don't know what to say. I mean, the public has been able to comment. We've brought it up in the past.
It was just last night. I was at another town meeting, and somebody came up with an idea for a pier at the beach. And it was buried in the minutes of a town meeting, and people found out about it. It was published in the paper, and people are really angry now. And I don't want you to have the same thing happen where people find out, oh my goodness, out of the blue, we're having a pavilion and nobody got to comment and people get pissed. I don't want that to happen to you.
Candace, if that's the case, no one has been reading any of the minutes of the Park and Rec Commission over the past year. Okay?
I would not be shocked if the general public does not read the minutes of the Park and Rec Commission from day to day, from month to month. I'm probably the only one who reads them.
Well, you know,
I don't understand why the general public would oppose it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. I mean, it's not using taxpayer money. It's actually beautifying the area. In fact, excuse me, Candace, excuse me. And in fact, many nice days, I happen to live around that area. I can go by and I see people on the picnic benches eating lunch out there. This would just be a beautiful opportunity for people to I bet you this thing will be highly popular within the public. Now, as far as we've been looking at this for months, you've known about it for months. We've got data that shows you provided some company that had a nice price on pavilions, but they did not install it. They gave directions. They say were easy directions in order to put it together. At that meeting, I believe you were listening in. That we decided, yeah, I know you were, because I thanked you for getting that information, but why would we risk not having it installed by professionals? And I don't understand why you were saying this at this time, because you even provided information for a pavilion. And I
think that the correct process is. So how do we know what the right size is? How do we know the right location is? The right process is to talk.
Candace, has not been picked out yet. We are going to get together with you and others to decide on the location. The whole idea of the pavilion was, in fact, you provided information to us, which I thank you for, on the Pergola Kits USA, which advertised at the starter level of Grand Cedar Pavilion for $18,049. To say that you haven't been involved, I just don't understand that. There's another one for $17,051.
I think that the process of developing Haynes Park needs to be thoughtful and needs to include the public.
By the way, the long-range development of Haynes Park was submitted to the, quote, Boathouse Haynes Park Improvement Committee back in 2015. And so this is not something new. This is back to 2015. One of the things in that was a pavilion. One of the things in there was the additional parking in the place that we have eventually put the parking. Well, when we did all that, I didn't hear so many objections from you on this, on doing that for the parking area.
I met with Phil Parchek and Don Bugby, and we stood in the park, and we said that we really need to have a plan. We really need to have intentionally placed things like the pavilion, like the kayak launcher, like all of these things, intentionally place them so that the park all works together, and maybe we keep all the kids on one side of the park with a pavilion and a play set, and all the boaters on the other side of the park with the kayaks but we just need a plan. We can't helter-skelter throw things down.
That's why, Candace, outside of getting a pavilion, we're going to meet, you are going to meet on Sunday with us to talk about this kayak business and where a good spot may be. And then maybe we can talk about ideas for where a pavilion may be. But the fact is, you even provided pavilion information because you were interested in doing a pavilion. Your biggest donator was, and at least before you agreed that we need a pavilion. We have not picked out a position for the pavilion, which we will involve you and anybody else that wants to come down there to walk around and look for where to put the pavilion. But that was already decided, and that was already decided. It was discussed for over a year, off and on at Park and Rec meetings. I would like to go ahead with the motion, please.
Bob, can I just interject for 1 second? This is Missy.
Yes.
My concern, I guess, is that, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but is that you're going to make a motion to buy a pavilion in a specific size without knowing the location. That's what is making me feel uncomfortable about it. And I don't, I'm not super familiar with the layout of Rogers Lake. I definitely have gone down there and sat at the picnic tables even recently and had dinner and stuff, but I just don't know if you need to know the location before you know the size. So I just want to let you know that that's my concern.
If it's going to be this popular, maybe we need a bigger one.
Wait, time out. The pavilion is big enough. Don Bugby, myself, and the directors of facilities have discussed this at length too. It's big enough to put two picnic benches, at least one being handicap accessible comfortably within that size of a 12 by 22. I wouldn't want to put one in any smaller because then you get a little cramped, but the one down at White Sands is much bigger than what you need for two picnic tables. White Sands also is a much bigger area than Haynes Park. Haynes Park is a smaller area, and so because of that, we thought that, okay, if we could make the pavilion 12 by 22, which would serve its purpose, a little bit smaller, and we looked at potential locations, 2 by the restroom, and
I don't think anyone on this call has done the scholarship to understand where the location is, what the size is, or any of this. I think
it's not true. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm sorry. I'll take responsibility for it, okay? Anybody, as far as the pavilion goes, we are going to then discuss it with interested parties of where to put it, okay? That would we like to make with Glenn, you made the motion.
We have a motion and we have a second.
Oh, we have a second. Okay. Any further discussion of the commissioners? Okay. All right. So, hearing none, let's do the vote. All those in favor of purchasing this pavilion and to be installed in the early spring. Who wants to approve that motion?
We have a first, we have a second, so now we need to vote.
Oh, well, I had the discussion, now we need the vote.
Yeah, now we need to vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, myself. All those opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
You're going to abstain? Okay, fine. All right, let's move on. The security cameras, Phil Parchik is still getting another estimate on that. So I think we'll just wait until we have the estimates and then have discussion on what company to go with and and basically the security cameras would be located on the bathroom and we also have to hook up a system so fire department or internet system so you get better. We're still looking into that research on what to do and who to hire for the security cameras. But we definitely need security down there based on the fact 3 days after it opened up, there was vandalism. It sounds like somebody else cracked a window. So we have to get that done and soon.
So Phil Parchik is working on getting...
Yeah, Phil Parchik just spoke to me today and said he's supposed to have another estimate in by next week sometime. So hopefully by the next meeting we can decide on who puts security cameras in. Okay. The Kayak Regatta at Haynes Park is being held this Saturday, the 16th. Oh, no, the 16th, no, sorry, a week from Saturday. And we had a discussion with that, and we think this is a great idea, and so, a week from Saturday, I think it starts at 11 o'clock or something, there's gonna be 25 people and a few boats being launched there, we were told by Ms. Plumley. Okay, now, anybody, we already discussed that at the last meeting,
Yep.
so there's no reason to really discuss, right? Okay, next part, new business. Basketball court has been, Mr. Fuchs has asked for that if he could use the basketball court for erg testing on November 1st. I guess it was the end of September, there was people on there doing, I don't know if he was doing testing, but Don contacted Mr. Fuchs, and he at that point asked for testing, being able to use it for 45 minutes or an hour or so on November 1st. How does everyone feel about that? Because basically we like to have the basketball court not being used by the ergs and the gatherings there. There's plenty of room in the field between Route 1 and the building to put. Okay.
November 1st on a Monday?
What's that?
November 1st, is that on a Monday?
It's a Monday, I believe.
No. The request is for is it November 1st? It's a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Whatever November 1st is.
I think it's
So
a Monday.
kids will be in school.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably, that's
To school.
they go after school there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be after school. So, basically,
Our ergs are,
it's those machines.
Rowing machines.
Machines are very safe to use.
they don't damage the court or,
No.
they're not like digging up the court.
No, and that, certainly because I think he said something to you, Don, about consistency of.
Well, Paul, I contacted Paul about a situation when the picture of the kids using the basketball court for their ergs was forwarded to me. We discussed it on the phone, and today he sent me a little memo here that I told him I would read to the Parks and Rec Commission. So, it says, "Hello, Don," and this is from Paul Fuchs, Director of Rowing, OM Rowing Association / Blood Street Skulls. "Hello, Don, the Parks and Rec Commission. I see that your agenda includes a discussion about whether we can use the basketball court for an hour on November 1st. I'm surprised that it has to go to the level of a discussion of the committee. Is there such overview for other park properties in Oline? I have often seen people skateboarding on the basketball court. I have seen a yoga group on the court over at Cross Lane, and I've seen kids playing the equivalent of floor hockey on the basketball court. For other facilities, I've seen people playing frisbee on soccer fields and hitting golf balls there as well. At Town Woods, sometimes people run their dogs there, and I've seen dads hitting baseballs on a soccer field for their kids. Are all of these events as closely regulated as the basketball court in Haynes Park? In case the concern is damage to the basketball court, an ergometer has 4 rubber feet which are about the size of a ball of a person's foot. The area of these feet is actually more than a person standing on the court. The ergometers have been used in the school gymnasium on a clear-coated floor without damage. This summer there was a reaction to 2 boys using their personal ergometers on the basketball court at 6 in the morning. I don't see how this was interrupting anyone's time playing basketball. I would also note with certainty that at no time has any rower been using the basketball court when there was anyone in the park with a basketball. If someone shows up, we get off. We do use it on occasion for warming up, which I think is understood as good practice for kids who are going to exercise. It's a much more pleasant space to stretch than laying in the grass in the goose poop. Doing it inside, especially under COVID conditions, is not recommended. You may remember that we had 2 rowers on the Tokyo Olympic team who began their rowing here in Old Lyme. In fact, that makes 5 Olympic team members in the past for Olympics from Old Lyme. The guys that were training out there this summer on their own ergometers, not part of our program, are rowing on the varsity teams at Wisconsin and Yale and could likely be our next Olympic team members. Do you think it's wise to alienate and disassociate the great kids that we have in our rowing program from the town of Old Lyme? As a program, we are very careful of what we do with this park so that we do not impact others. In fact, it would be nice to be commended for the fact that we came up with a solution created and purchased by Old Lyme Rowing Association to keep the geese off the town docks. You might consider using a solution to keep the geese from coming into the park. We value our relationship with the town of Old Lyme, and we hope that this would go both ways. Paul Fuchs.
On the last part, didn't the dog lady coming down?
Yeah, he's talking about the flags they put on the docks.
Oh, okay, yeah, but you have contacted the dog lady to come down to try and keep the...
Yes.
Okay, so is that working better to keep...
It helps.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll attach that letter to the minutes. Okay, Don, you're gonna have to provide, let's see, because when you just got on Mary Ellen, provide her with that to attach the minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
And it did arrive when? This afternoon?
I forget.
Or sometime today.
Can you email me the copy of it? Or?
Yeah, because we didn't get to see it either, but thank you for those comments.
That's the letter.
Yeah, but I do them electronically, you know. I wanted it. You don't have, can you just copy it?
I can do that.
All right. But,
I can email it to you.
Oh, great, okay.
Okay.
I'll take the other part that you're giving.
Anybody like to comment about first of all, the thing that's on the agenda for the basketball court being used for erg testing on November 1st?
I don't have an issue with
I don't have an issue.
That's fine with me too. How about Mary Ellen? Was it fine with you?
I didn't have an issue with it, but I have to say the letter was, to me, a little
Oh, it's
over the top.
Okay, well, let's not comment on that right now.
I don't have an issue with an hour.
Yeah, with it on November 1st. Missy, how about you?
Nope, I don't have an issue either.
Okay.
Bob, Tim, I'm here too, Bob. I've been here for a while, but
Brendan, you're there?
Tim.
Oh, Tim. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Yes.
I think it's fine. I think that if they're paying attention to who's using the basketball court and they're being respectful of the players when they come, that I don't see why they can't use it at their discretion.
Well,
but for this particular...
Yeah. Did you see the picture?
Well, I'm just saying for this particular one that's on the agenda, I think it's fine.
Oh, yeah, I think it's fine, too. Now, here was our concern all along, I think, is that there is a reinforced area in front of the boathouse that possibly could be used for that. There is lots of grass areas possibly could be used for that. That the problem would be, it's not the fact that they use it on occasion. It's when you took a look at that picture and the whole thing was covered with people. And if you're a kid going down there by yourself, go shoot baskets, and you see that crowd, are you going to have especially a young kid, the ability to go up and address that crowd and say, you want to shoot baskets? I doubt it. I don't think there's any kids who are quite, what do you guys think? Yeah, but I mean, if it was, even if still one of the court wasn't totally covered and one of the baskets was available, at least that's reasonable, okay? But to take over the entire court, and even though might not be anybody playing basketball at that time, I think it's very, very tough for a kid that would want to go down there and see such a crowd on there to say, okay, I need you to move so I can shoot hoops. What do you think, Mary Ellen?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my son used to love to just go shoot hoops and he wouldn't have stopped.
John, what do you think about,
I agree. The kid's not going to kick him off.
No, yeah. So to have these big groups on, and even if it was 20 skateboarders or whatever versus 2, I mean, it's just totally different scenario than this. So I think the idea of not having the whole court taken over by the rowing association, should be very, I mean, we're all sharing this park.
It's only an hour.
You're not sharing it if you're over the entire basketball court.
This is only for an hour.
Yeah, but this is, for an hour, for these types of occasions, I think it'll be fine,
Right.
Yeah, but to just do it every day when they have practices out there or whatever, just because they don't see anybody shooting basketball, what do you think? I mean...
No, I agree.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, Bob, as well.
Right, okay. Don, you want to make a comment?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, okay. All right, so can we just have a consensus, or we have to make a motion?
I think a consensus is...
We have the rowers to use a basketball court for approximately an hour on November 1st. I believe it'd be in the afternoon. Do we need a motion on this?
I think a consensus is fine.
Okay, consensus is fine. Okay, because there has been a consensus. Tim, I didn't hear from you. Were you in the consensus?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
I think it's fine.
Okay, so the consensus is that this is fine for November 1st. The consensus also is that we don't want any group on there that takes over whether it be calisthenic people or whatever, it takes over the whole basketball court, in that it would be a very difficult situation for a young kid to say, okay, you got to move, I want to shoot baskets. Yeah, okay. All right, so that's fine to have the ERG testing on November 1st. Now the last one is Don. We've talked about this in the past. We're going to talk about some more. That maybe the time will come for a part-time assistant for the Director of Parks and Recreation. Don, you're going to address this. We've brought it up in the past. In fact, some people from the public that have even been here during COVID time, one being Greg Hack, another one being some of the ladies that were involved, I forgot their names, all thought that Don should have help and assistance, and why aren't we doing that? So we're going to bring it up now, and Don, you have something to say on that?
I do.
Okay.
I think that the time is long past due to have an assistant to the Parks and Rec Director. We've discussed it a lot here. As you mentioned, people in the public are mentioning it in public. I've talked to Finance Director about it, trying to figure out how it would work. And I have an excellent candidate in mind. I have an excellent candidate who is willing to come in. And it will be a part-time position, a part-time hourly position. The work will be done as needed throughout the year. It's not a set amount of hours per week, so the hours would vary. But what you do to be a part-time employee for the town of Old Lyme, we figured out that if you averaged it on a 25 hours per week or 52 weeks per year, that's 1,300 hours. So this position would be not to exceed 1,300 hours. I thought a fair salary based on some of the salary surveys in the past around here, and I understand that we're going to go through that process again as a whole town employees. I felt that, this is me talking, I felt that $35,000 per year wage, which equals $26.92 an hour, with no benefits, would be a very fair and equitable way to start this process. The person I have in mind to help is in agreement with all that. She's willing to come in and do that. Some of her responses, if you look at, I have a resume and a cover letter that I can forward to you folks. It's very extensive, very qualified, a resident of Old Lyme, kids in the system, the whole bit, and she's worked for me in the past running the day camp. She's helping me currently with soccer. And I think if we brought somebody in, I mean, people are asking for more and more and more each year. And each year, I know everybody's job seems to get like this. Getting the job done throughout a year nowadays takes more time because there's more things to do, more hoops to jump through to get something done. So what I would use the part-time assistant for would be to help develop, implement, and manage additional Parks and Rec programs and expand the current programs throughout the year, stuff that we already do. And some of these programs that this person would be extremely qualified to run, manage, etc., would include tennis lessons, managing adult volleyball gatherings, pickleball. We're going to be installing pickleball courts when we revamp the courts at Crossland, hopefully in the spring. Fitness training sessions. She's done soccer camps for me before. She's done basketball camps for me before. She could do volleyball camps, and she could direct yoga sessions. And these are just, right off the top of my head, easily programs that we could put together and increase what we have now, make them bigger, and offer more. She would also be able to collaborate more, or her and I should say, it's not just all on her, collaborate more with outside agencies such as the Lyme Youth Service Bureau and District 18 to discuss the possibilities of co-sponsoring or joint programs. And she's also capable of expanding and further developing Parks and Recreation website and social media outlets. I personally think this is a win-win situation. I personally think this is the right person for the job. I think that this is a person who, somewhere down the road, when I decide to step away from my job and possibly retire, this would be a person who would be groomed to take over without missing a beat. And I think the Parks and Recreation Commission should discuss this and possibly bring it or they should bring it to a vote tonight to proceed with it or not. I could go into a lot of details. I don't think I really have to do that right now farther, but this is the way to go. This person is more than qualified to do this, more than willing to do this, and she will be an absolute asset to the town of Old Lyme in this position and possibly down the road taking over.
I'm on that too. It sounds good. It's something that we've discussed many times that this job is overwhelming for one person to do. And there's, even though the summertime, Don gets lots of help, with the opportunity to expand the program and possibly groom somebody, because Don's not getting any younger.
But even in the summer, with the help, he has to oversee all the help.
Right.
So that takes time.
There's also one more thing that I didn't mention. I am, at this time of year, right now, I am only paid for 30 hours a week. And I'm paid for 40 hours a week for a total of 18 weeks. I usually start that somewhere in May and ended up somewhere in the middle of September or so. That 18-week period, I'm paid for 40 hours. And the rest of the year, I'm paid for 30 hours a week. And it's not enough at times.
There's no doubt you work many overtime hours and don't even take vacations that you're entitled to in order to do a good job for the youth, especially, and the people of this town. That I think this is a long time coming.
Way long time.
Yeah.
How do we proceed with something like this?
I think I think we've all talked about that you really should have somebody helping out in a part-time position.
Okay.
That we have a discussion here. All those in favor, we have a decision on if we're in favor of this.
So we are gonna vote to be in favor of hiring a part-time, not a particular person.
And then, I think then...
I don't know.
Then the next step, what do you think the next step would be, Don, to go to a select meeting?
I think the Parks and Rec Commission should decide whether they think it's a good idea or not. And that decision would be to present it to the Board of Selectmen. And then the Board of Selectmen would decide whether they think it's a good situation or not. The question will come up, where does the money come from, seeing we're middle of the budget? It's not like you're starting out July 1 with, a fresh budget. I've talked about that in length with Nicole. I think a lot of this money could be absorbed through other aspects of my budget. And going forward, it would be put in there as a separate, correctly line item. And also remember, we don't have the exact numbers now, but having somebody that does this combined with me is going to generate a lot of income, which should offset this type of stuff. And the Board of Selectmen, in my opinion, make the decision whether to do it or not, and the Board of Finance tries to come up with the money, or agrees to how we're coming up with
it. Works with the selectmen on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's what has to happen. I mean, it's up to you folks. This is a golden opportunity right in front of us, in my opinion. And I'm not here to shirk any responsibility that I do or have at all, because I think I go above and beyond, making sure things are as best I can do. This is merely to improve everything and expand as much as we can to the residents, to offer them as much as we possibly can.
John, you want to say something?
Well, I think I should make a motion that we should prevent.
Would it be,
we should present it to the...
I put move to support the addition of a part-time assistant to the Director of Parks and Rec and present to the Board of Selectmen for approval. Does that sound?
And then for this idea to be presented at the next Board of Selectmen meeting, which will be...
Well, that's what I said. Present to the Board of Selectmen for approval at their next meeting?
Yeah,
I think we should do it right away.
Because the next meeting was what? They just had one on Monday, I know. So it'll be 2 weeks from this past Monday.
So you want to make that motion, John? Or?
Yes, I will make that motion.
Okay, can you repeat it, please, Mary Ellen?
I put John Flower moved to support the addition of a part-time assistant to the Director of Parks and Rec and present to the Board of Selectmen for approval at their next meeting.
I'll second.
Or discussion or approval. I don't think,
Discussion maybe.
Discussion or
Discussion
or future approval or something. They're not going to do it right at that meeting. I don't think. They may. Who knows?
All right.
At least for discussion and
how about to the Board of Selectmen for discussion and future approval at their next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Somebody like to second? Okay. Any discussion?
I have something to discuss, maybe.
Okay. Go ahead.
Somebody could say, let's do this in the next budget, starting July 1. Fair question. I think starting it as soon as possible gets everything or gets a lot of things off the ground prior to doing the budget and planning for next year.
But and if Nicole says there's ways to maybe pay for this, Nicole being the financial director.
Yes.
I think this is something we discussed with the selectmen.
Right. Do you want to say move to support the...
I think the motion's fine.
The motion's fine, but the whole idea when this would start.
I just think it's
up for discussion.
I'm just saying somebody could say, let's wait.
You're right.
Put it in the budget and see how it goes. I think it's important to do it now so I can better prepare my budget For July 1.
Especially if we can get also Nicole's input at the selectmen's meeting, the next selectmen's meeting, because hopefully she could be there to...
She goes to those, doesn't she?
She goes to some of them, right?
I'm not going to speak for her as far as going to the meetings, but I can certainly relay the information that she has.
Yeah. Anybody else? This sounds very reasonable to me.
Yes, I think it's well overdue.
Yes, very reasonable. Missy or Tim, are you out there?
Yes, I'm in full support.
Okay. Tim, how about you? Tim, we lost you? Oh, okay,
no,
maybe.
Sounds good.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you. You support that?
Yep.
Okay, great. Brendan, did you ever make the meeting? No, I don't think he was going to make it.
So it's
he had some big meeting or something tonight. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, could you read the motion that we're now going to vote on?
John Flower moved to support the addition of a part-time assistant to the Director of Parks and Rec and present to the Board of Selectmen for discussion and future approval at their next meeting. Glenn McElrath seconded the motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No? Okay. We're done with that. Any other new business? No? No? Hearing none? Okay. Now we go to public comment. And please try and limit the length. We've already had a lot of comments from public tonight. But go ahead. Any public comment? No? Hearing none? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Well, hold it, Bob. I'm trying to talk.
Oh, we didn't hear you.
I didn't hear anything at this end, but go ahead, make your public comment.
Thank you. So this is Candace Fuchs, and I'm the president of Old Lyme Rowing Association, and the first thing I want to clarify is my position regarding the pavilion. I cannot possibly have a position for or against the pavilion because I don't know the size, I don't know the location, I don't know the cost, I have no idea whether it's a popular thing among the users in the park. I have not enough information to be for or against the pavilion. I have, as Bob correctly pointed out, I have provided information about pavilions to help the Park and Rec Commission do their scholarship. The correct way to go about this process is to invest in Haynes Park in a thoughtful, pragmatic way. The plan of 2015 sorely needs to be updated. It does not include the boathouse in its present location. It does not include the basketball court in its present location. It does not include the new bathrooms in its present location. It does not take into account that the park floods and flooded. Like just a few weeks ago, the picnic tables were literally floating. There is a drainage problem in this park that needs to be addressed before we invest $17,000 in a pavilion. I strongly feel that the professional way to make Haynes Park the beautiful place that kayakers and picnickers and children and pickleball players and rowers and everybody can enjoy is by going through a pragmatic, community-led process where we include the voices of everybody in the community and come up with a plan that intelligently includes ADA accessibility and jungle gyms and pavilions and all the things we all would like to have there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that opinion. Anyone else like to comment? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn. Mary Ellen.
The second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? No? Okay, we're done with tonight's meeting, and it looks like it's, what is it anyway?
7:34.
7:34. Okay. All right, thank you for all for participating.
Thank you.